Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What's up, Shoes?
We were just discussing news that quote unquote broke as we came on the air. Seth Rollins walked off the Good Morning Football set after a fight, not a physical fight, a verbal dispute with host Kyle Brandt. We talk about all these like media celebrities that have been involved in the WWE world as of late. And I don't know why it never occurred to me to ask you this. If you could have anybody come on Hot 97 in the morning and start a fake fight with you, who would it be?
Fake fight, man.
Or I mean, it can be fisticuffs. You can do Cameron,
Are we
like
doing
whatever.
Cameron
but I'm just saying,
style?
like,
yeah,
it could be Cameron, Kyle Brandt. It can be or Stephen A. Smith. It can be whatever. Just when I say fake fight, I mean like you're not really like it's a war.
I'll tell you, yo. I think I could give Cody Rhodes some real juice. I think I can give him some real juice. I know he's the world champ. I know he's headlined WrestleManias over and over at this point. But I think if he came to Hot 97 and got into a verbal altercation with me,
he might end racism forever again. Yeah.
Listen, we'll get down to the brass taxes of it all. And to the point that maybe he lunges at me like Jay lunged at Cameron. I don't know. We've been going back and forth. He's probably the one person on the show that we talk about the most, that I talk to the most, that hasn't done the show since he returned. I think he had his first interview, like right after wrestling Seth, and he hasn't come back since. So maybe I corner him on Hot 97, and then I don't know, I give him a nice little pie face in the middle of the interview.
Oh,
we have
man.
a nice little scuffle, we do some real good business. Pay it off, you know what I mean?
I'm surprised as a fan that you're not saying that you would stay the hell away from the main event scene after what just transpired at WrestleMania. But I mean, I think it's a good idea. It's, in a vacuum, that's good booking.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't be interfering in any title matches or 20-year legacy runs at all. I would just, for the love of the game, just piss off Cody Rhodes. That's where McAfee and Jelly Roll went wrong, right? Like we had this 20-year history between these two guys, and they shoved themselves in it. I'm just gonna smack Cody for the love of the game, and then we're gonna talk it out and do some good business at Saturday night's main event.
You know how sometimes at All Star or whatever, there'll be a charity game that's like NBA writers versus players or versus coaches or whatever. Like, do you think we're getting close enough that we can have an all media crossover Royal Rumble at some point?
Who would be in this Royal Rumble?
I mean, I think you'd have to put Logan Paul in there and make him the favorite just because he's the only one with any experience. But you got Stephen A, you got Jelly Roll, obviously you got Pat McAfee. Now we got Kyle Brandt. We got Cameron. I mean, the list of like potential podcast host contestants is limitless.
We could definitely do a Survivor Series. We could do McAfee, Killer Cam, Kyle Brandt, Logan Paul, I Show Speed against
and Kaz in this story is what I mean.
And Kaz, yeah, of course. And Kaz. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could show up to be their manager, but they would put you in as the heater in no time. They're like, we need some size in here.
I was about to say, like, I'm bigger than most of those guys. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle Brandt's in hella good shape, but you know what I mean? He's not boxing me out in the rebounds, all right? Let's just put it that way. I think we'd hold our own. We probably get cooked. We definitely get cooked because Logan Paul would be our anchor, basically. But, we'd surprise some folks. We'd bust out a few surprising moves.
But you'd last long enough for Logan and Speed to do their like crazy spots. All you have to do is just figure out some way to steal the win after that.
Yeah, and Cam's gonna fight dirty. You know what I mean? So
I was gonna say he has like the Sheik's fireball.
Yeah,
just like tossing people's faces.
Cam's definitely gonna fight dirty.
Oh, okay. I'm all the way in. All right. I forget anything bad I've said about media crossover. Wrestling's good again. Let's start the show.
Now Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show. Masked Man Show.
Welcome to the Masked Man with Kaz. I recorded a very special public service announcement yesterday. You can find that on our new YouTube page, YouTube/@RingerWrestling, or on Instagram, or even there's a clip on Twitter, whatever. Just find our stuff. And it's very serious. Did you see that, Kaz? I recorded okay, good. A little bit long. Apologize. The next one will be shorter. But yeah, I mean, we did it a little bit tongue in cheek, but the message was real. I think it's just a little bit disheartening for folks like us to be lumped in with folks like that.
So let me tell you something, right? So let's let people inside.
Oh, wait, I should say what we're talking about. I want to hear, I just setting you up. I apologize for cutting you off. It was about fan interaction at WrestleMania when all those fans were like physically accosting and wrestlers at the MGM Grand, or filming them in the bathrooms, groping people at meet and greets. And this is all set against the backdrop of numerous instances of like stalking and home invasion and assault, that wrestlers have to deal with over the years. So anyway, and I was just, the moral of the story was like, be a normal person if you're a wrestling fan. Stop doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, we were at the MGM Grand for a couple of days. I had shout out to Netflix. They got me a swanky hotel at the Fontainebleau. And I'll be honest, when they got me that hotel, I promise there's a point to the story. When they got me this hotel,
this is humble brag city. Go ahead.
When Netflix got me the nice hotel at the Fontainebleau, I really contemplated if I was even going to check in, because we were in a talent hotel. And a lot of times when we go traveling for a lot of these events, we end up in a talent hotel, and after big shows, we'll catch drinks at the bar, or there'll be like an event that we all sort of go to, and it's usually pretty cool. And of course, you're going to run into some fans, and of course, if there's going to be a lot of folks, but for the most part, like if talent and wrestlers are like in the lobby bar downstairs in the hotel, in most of our instances, the bar used to be sort of like a safe haven, right? Like even if you were a fan, you just kind of like sit back and be cool until like they're on their way out, or they're like on their way in, and like they if they were in the mood for it, they'd sign something, whatever.
Well, at Philly, right. What was the Talent Hotel in Philly? It doesn't matter. We don't need to shout out. But at the Talent Hotel in Philly, they had security at the door, which is the norm. Yep. Like if you didn't have a room key to that hotel, you couldn't
even get in. Yeah, exactly.
And then when you walk in, the lobby bar is like exposed to everything, right? You can see the bar from when you walk. It's like a football field away, but you can see it, and there's no walls or anything. So it's just if you're a wrestler, whatever you're eating there, you're exposed. But theoretically, you're in a relatively safe haven. Although it wasn't booked out, right? Like it wasn't all WWE, so there were fans, people like us who had ticket, who had rooms in there. But then separate from that, they had the whole restaurant like blocked off.
Yeah.
So talent could drink in there, or drink or eat or do whatever they want. They could hang out in there without any sort of question about who's going to be around.
Yeah.
But Vegas is just not like that, because Vegas's lobby is a casino.
Well, not that hotel. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying. Like I was, after like 2 nights, I mean, we hung out with, lots of folks that we don't need to name, but like there were definitely lots of stories of people camping out, like, being very intrusive, and, just, it was just weird and creepy. And I don't know if it's because it was Vegas and it's a casino, and there's already sort of like that seedy undertone of like, uneasy queasiness when you get to Vegas, just because it's a city of sin and all that type of stuff. But yeah, like there was lots of creepy stuff going on as far as like fan interactions. And you're right, it definitely does make the rest of the fans, look crazy in comparison. And I know for the past couple of weeks, I've had lots of things to say about fans on social media and these parasocial relationships, and how some folks need to touch grass and understand that, like, this is just entertainment, all this type of stuff. But a lot of it, not for nothing, like I saw a lot of this stuff in live and living color. And and I'm glad it became a big story because it was almost like it can't be like this all the time. Because it was like watching a lot of those weirdos on social media in real life, like do weirdo stuff that like it just doesn't it didn't compute to me that like, oh, something's off here. Like, yeah, the security is a little lax. Like, yeah, like we are kind of just in the middle of the casino right here, and
Yeah.
it left a lot of people exposed for some not so great interactions that unfortunately went viral after the weekend, so after Friday, like when Saturday came around, I was like, yeah, I'm going to the other hotel. It's nuts in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we were
that's
there
what
for, I
ended
mean, we
up.
were there for basically a week. So, the first few days we were there, it was super quiet. And I was just like, I don't know how, but this is working out so well. But then, yeah, by the weekend, I mean, it's just so cool. It's just so crazy in there anyway, fans or not. But that fans are using that as an opportunity to do these like just awkward approaches. I mean, I know some people are like, don't have the sense of propriety of right and wrong that everybody does. And the odds are none of these wrestlers are in physical danger, but who the fuck knows, man? I mean, like I said, there's been some real serious instances. Liv Morgan just told a story about a fan that like showed up at her house and rung the doorbell for like 2 hours, and
It shouldn't have
WWE
to wait. It shouldn't have to wait for something to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I was saying WWE, to their credit, called the FBI. They were just like, this is not a in-house security issue.
Yeah, and what makes it more concerning too is because or glaring, I would say, is because it's the same city they were in last year, right? So like they were in the Fontainebleau last year,
which was pretty isolated. I mean, it's isolated on the Strip. Like it's not a place you would just ever walk to if you were staying in the Strip proper. It's on the Strip, but it's a ways up. And it's just a whole different vibe there, and there were fans there waiting for autographs in the lobby, but not that many until, I mean, maybe Saturday night, Sunday night. Yeah, I feel like they were roping people off outside there too.
Yeah.
Am I crazy to remember that?
Nah, it was
it's like you set up the pig pen and the pigs run in. It's like that, but it makes sense. If you actually want to get autographs, stay here. Maybe the wrestlers will do it. But yeah, I mean, it's just listen, we're privileged, like we're friends, you more so than me, friends with some of these wrestlers, and we get to see them and hang out. But like last year at the Fontainebleau, we talked to Omos.
Yeah.
Who's a great dude. Someone like, I am acquainted with, and it was always very nice and kind and wonderful dude to talk to. But like, if I hadn't had your in to meet him in the first place, or I don't even know how I met him, but if I hadn't met him, I would have, and if I had been the same guy in the same place, I would have said, "Oh my God," to the person next to me. "Oh my God, there's Big Omos." And that would have been the end of it, right? Even if I was like a kid, I probably would have been hiding behind my dad's leg or something, I'm not, but it's just that weird sense of propriety that I just don't, the reverence, whatever, that we don't get. I mean, there were years and years when I went to WrestleMania as a job, and I just hadn't been around very long. I didn't have I was always friends with Rosenberg. I was always friends with people, and I was friends with you and like whatever else. But like, I guess it's such a small point. I felt so dumb, even so I didn't make it in the PSA. But I'm just like, to me, if I was in the talent hotel and I wasn't involved, like I wasn't a podcaster, I would just like be like, holy shit, what a lucky moment. And I would go to the bar with my friend, and I would just like have a drink and just like feel really lucky to watch over my shoulder, like whoever passed by, Also, maybe it doesn't occur to everybody, but like, if I'm in a hotel at night, I would like to be getting a drink with my friend, like it's just kind of regular human being stuff, It's like, oh, well, what are we going to do here? Are we going to mill around awkwardly, like filming people, or are we just going to have a beer? Like,
it's a lack of social awareness that, you notice come through on social media. Like a lot of times, and this is probably, this is definitely a teaching moment for myself, because I always sort of put weird fans in this box of social media and just being like, you can't be like that in real life, right? And this
some of them
weekend,
are.
So you very much proved that you are. You know what I'm saying? And on that same note, Dave, I gotta say, I'm so proud of how mixy you were this weekend. You were the mixiest.
What is mixy?
Mixy. That's how you know. That's how you know. Dave was being social. It means you were in the mix. It's like
okay.
doing lots of hanging out and catching up with everybody.
It was the best hang. We had a great time. Man.
We definitely had some really good hangs, and man, you got an iPhone too. You were tweeting,
dude.
You were live tweeting Raw from ringside.
I was so proud of you. And I was live tweeting during Dynamite last night, and I have to defend my takes later on. So we're definitely going to do that. We didn't talk about Raw. Speaking of the hang,
we culminated our weekend of hangs, front row center, front row aisle at Monday Night Raw at the T-Mobile Arena in Rappers Row. So for Dave, who doesn't necessarily come to a lot of the Netflix events that Raw, the Raw events that Netflix put together, they usually have what I've come to as Rappers Row.
Oh, that's like a Netflix thing, like staple.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know it, but I know it. But anytime Netflix invites me out, particular, they'll have their celebrities. They'll have like the folks on the Netflix TV shows, and they'll have like some athletes there. But that corner right by the aisle is always where they put myself, Mano, Joe Budden, Fabulous, Jim Jones, Karen Civil, Gina Views, DJ Head, Bootleg Kev, like just all of the rap media and Dave, like right in the middle of that. And he fit right in, and it was a great, great show. And it's the Raw after Mania. What other Monday Night Raw would you want to be at than that one?
No.
So
it was
very newsworthy.
The wonderful Javon Evans. You couldn't really see it on TV very well, but the wonderful Javon Evans, when he did his big jump outside and then jumped into the crowd, he jumped directly onto Kaz. Like he said, and it wasn't an accident. Like he saw us coming out and he like lit up and gave dapped us up or whatever. And then as soon as he got outside the ring, it was just a beeline, like his back onto Kaz's face.
It was great. It was definitely
and it was hilarious too because
the
funniest thing was we were there on Rappers Row, as you call it, and there was a lot of
shout out to Sade from Netflix for
there was a lot of it wasn't like big meaty men level, but like there was a lot of physical heft there. There were big dudes, strong dudes all over the place, and when Javon hit you, the entire section moved about 4 feet. Like everybody was like I was next, and I was like,
he knew I was going to catch him. I was like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know what I had a hand on him over your shoulder. I was like, I don't know what my obligation is here. Like, I don't know how hard Javon is jumping. And I was like, you're at a concert and somebody's stage diving or something, and you're just like, oh, come on, man. But it's somebody you want to stage dive.
And I see it. I'm watching from the suite, right?
Oh,
and I see it as it's happening. And I was like, okay, like he did interact with some other fans. And it was as if he saw like his big brother and he knew he was safe the way he jumped.
That's so great.
He knew he was safe.
Yeah, I tried to record it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I got man. If anybody got the clips from there, please tag us in it.
Yeah, but I mean, Javon is a real dude. I mean, I know that he's like has that wiry frame, but he's put on a lot of mass since he's been in WWE, and he's not small or light. Like if you see him in person, he would be like your strongest friend. He's like a big dude, and he's tall as hell. So. That was a lot of weight. He was counting on you for a lot there, Kaz. I just want to say, but it was a lot of fun. Thanks to, like you said, thanks to Netflix for hooking us up with those seats. But and T-Mobile Arena, which I hadn't been to in I don't know how long, was just a delight. All of the arena staff in Las Vegas, wherever we were. I mean, obviously, your concierge has to be nice to you, but man, we got like such nice treatment from everybody. And I'm kind of mad now that they're building a new basketball arena in Vegas that'll be the home of all these Raws, I assume, going forward, because T-Mobile is the right size, for a wrestling event. It's not too big. Whatever they do now, I'm sure it'll be bigger. And we're probably watching like NXT at T-Mobile in years in the future or whatever. But
they have a baseball stadium out there.
Oh yeah, they're building. I mean, that was the craziest thing about Vegas is that they're building a baseball stadium and a basketball arena and like 5 other things simultaneously, like within a block of your hotel. And you just don't know. Like you until you get into a cab and get on the street, you're like, wait, that's next door? It's crazy. But yeah, Vegas is going to be ready whenever the world decides to come back, I guess.
That's a fact. It was a good time though, man.
So yeah, I was tweeting some during Raw. Here's my big thing. And we were talking about fans not having the distinction. Somebody asked me, somebody very, very smart, asked me after the show if you think if I thought we were going towards a world where wrestling events were like comedy clubs, and they like take your phone on the way in. And I was like, no, it can't possibly happen, because that's again what people are paying for. They need their Instagram videos, or life doesn't happen, and whatever. But it was notable. I remember at one point, like, Kaz, you turned around to film an entrance, and then I just turned around myself, and like every single other person besides me was filming the entrance, and it was like a big deal. And I get it, but it was like, or you could just get somebody else's video off of the internet. Can we just assign one audience elective that like just is the person that gets to film for all of us?
I used to think just like that, Dave. I used to think just like that. It's like, why am I filming something that is on TV that is going to have a much better, crispier look?
Well, and also you're sort of filming it, and you're filming it instead of experiencing it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And then I'm just like, you know what? I like the engagement. I think everybody wants the engagement. I mean,
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're out on the street and like, a car exploded, like everybody would pick up their phones. They wouldn't be like, I can catch this on Twitter, but like, I get the reaction.
I film everything on my phone for time capsule purposes. Like sometimes
it is fun, dude. Dude, getting the iPhone back, it's like now I just am being inundated with memories, which I did my best to like block out for years. And it is cool. It is cool to like be with a friend, and then all of a sudden the AI, bot that rules our lives is like, hey, by the way, you guys hung out 2 years ago today. Here's a photo, and you're like, oh,
you know what? You're like, AI robot, you're not too bad.
We love our AI overlords, that's for sure. This episode of the Masked Man Show brought to you by your AI overlords.
Brought to you by Claude and ChatGPT.
But yeah, that Raw after WrestleMania was ridiculously good. I don't know. I didn't rewatch it. I rewatched most of WrestleMania because being there live doesn't always do it justice, or doesn't ever do it justice in terms of TV product. But I didn't watch Raw, except to find that little clip, because of course Javon Evans is my younger son's favorite wrestler. And yeah, I mean, but being there, that Raw was incredible. Did they ever explain? Didn't they announce Lesnar? Did they ever explain why he wasn't there? I didn't. Did Heyman explain that away?
It was a tribute to him. Like they just showed.
They showed his picture, and they just said tribute to Brock Lesnar, but we just saw the picture.
The same thing you thought. I was like, oh, is Brock gonna be here? Are we gonna like get towards that Gunther match or whatever? And like, apparently not. I think he's really done.
Nah,
I think he's really done.
I mean, first of all, you have to grade on the Brock curve, which is like no one knows at all. No one knows what to expect. Period. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if he said I'm 100% done, there's a chance he'll come back. If he said I'm 100% coming back, there's a chance he never would. This kind of gives Brock this sort of visible power, on-screen power, to make his decision for himself. But I think he's coming back. That would be my guess.
I disagree, Dave. I think it's a wrap. I think he was on the fence, and then he felt it in that crowd. Like he felt
he decided in the moment.
I think he was probably like 60-30 walking in there, and then got to like 80-20 by the time he was done. And it was just like, yeah, this feels like the right time. It's WrestleMania, dude. And he does what he usually does. He called it in the ring. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I think it's a wrap here. And
I mean, that would suit Brock as being the sort of force of nature, right? Like existing separately from the pro wrestling universe. But yeah, it was, regardless, what a great moment that was. I mean, I guess, yeah, the shocking thing would be like, would Brock, as we imagine to know him, be able to create tears as like when it wasn't actually the last match? I think that's a legitimate question, a legitimate point of view. But I feel like we're going to see him again. But who knows? This build to WrestleMania. We'll see
how that SummerSlam build is, right?
Yeah,
if they're selling tickets, I think Brock stays retired. If them joints ain't moving,
Celebrity Battle Royal.
The
Just
pain
like
is
I
coming.
said.
The pain might
Oh
be
my
coming.
gosh! Well, the
last
story
time.
today was that Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee both just sort of they're not going to be around anymore because both of them were like, "Get us out of here." They were like,
Yeah.
They're like, mostly from the point of view is like, we love and appreciate wrestling so much, we don't want to be part of this madness anymore. Because they could tell that it was a bad idea. They knew it was a bad idea. They probably got talked into it. Bad idea meaning inserting them into the main event.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place for celebrities at WrestleMania. There always is. And both those guys love wrestling, so bring them around, But not in that position. But both of them were just like, dude, we're getting booed. This is not a good look for anybody. Let's just write us off in the first 30 seconds of the match or whatever it was. And then we're going to dip for a while after McAfee's running. I mean, and that's what I would expect from them. I don't know Jelly Roll. I've met Pat, but like, they're obviously wrestling fans. This is and all the wrestling fans,
I met Pat years ago because Pat's a big at the time fan of this show. You know what I mean? And if you're a fan of this show before the ESPN days, you're a real fan. You know what I mean? Like a real fan of wrestling. Well, so I don't think anybody could accuse McAfee or Jelly Roll of being like these
fake fans.
What they're being called online, like these TKO bloodsuckers that just want to like insert themselves and take attention away. It's like, nah, I think they care just as much as anybody. And when they're told something, they probably want to do to the best of their ability without ruining the thing that they love, So,
credit to McAfee. I mean, he could have audibled on the, in real time.
Yeah.
But he did what I would probably suggest anybody else in his position do, and that's like lean into the heel shtick. He was just going all the way in and healing it up.
Not like he wasn't a good heel. You definitely got them cheering Cody again.
That's and that was probably the move. That was probably why they did it. Also because he needs to be the next Sylvester Stallone. But anyway, was there Brian? What were the other big beats on Raw?
Oh, so Ruca.
Oh yeah, did you see that bump she took at NXT?
Oh yeah. That was
so Ruca makes her main roster debut at Raw, then has to go finish off her Zarya feud on NXT in like a crazy no holds barred match that ended with Zarya throwing her like off a balcony and through 2 tables. Except, whoops, she missed one of the tables with every part of her body.
Dudley.
It was the Spike Dudley. Yeah, it was like all of her body weight hit the first table, and so the second table she just hit her neck and her head, and it snapped her up. If this were the NFL, you would say I would presume she would be in the concussion protocol for a few weeks, whether or not she was showing any signs.
Go right to the blue tent.
Yep. But it was a cool spot. You just hate it when it gets marred by your own worries or whatever. But yeah, she made her big debut. Ethan Page got introduced to the new member of the roster and then proceeded to beat our guy, Javon Evans, which was a good look for, I think, Ethan Page. I'm going to be very interested to watch his main roster career because it feels like it's going to be pretty seamless. Like, I don't know what the ceiling is on the guy, but the degree to which he's just sort of felt at place in WWE is pretty incredible. I mean, Kaz, I think you said the other day, it's just like how many AEW stars, have been underutilized when they came over to WWE. The insinuation being not many, if any. But I don't even know if Adam Page's situation of like WWE giving him the right push or the right environment is just like, it's just a better fit. It's just, he just is suited better for WWE TV.
And Ethan Page has gotten better too. Like, let's not take that away. It's very easy to just be like, oh, well, he left AEW and now he's, doing better than he's ever been. It's like, nah, he also has like a couple of years more experience in a different environment with different talents and more reps on TV. And he's just gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ethan Page was all right when, I first started seeing him on TNA and AEW. Like, I thought he was all right. But now I think he's really good. And I think he's like, he fits into that mid-card Intercontinental title hunt like a glove, and they put him like right in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and they also introduced Rusev as Javon's next opponent in the same segment, which is basically like a return from another company. He's been gone for so long. I mean, gone on main event for so long. before WrestleMania. He had a great showing in the 6-man ladder match, and he's right back into the swing of things. I think that's the real metric for this week for Raw, obviously, and SmackDown too, is how many sort of like mulligans we get, like all the people that have been like totally vanished in the past year. I feel like they're either going to come out of the gates after Mania with a big push, or
like the Street Profits.
Like the Street Profits. That's the other big one. Or, they're probably should be worried about their job security, not to make light of the situation. Street Profits coming back was crazy. Crazy. I mean, that could have been the biggest moment of the month for us, in any other way, at another point in time. I'm so excited to see those guys back.
And in a program that feels important, right? Like,
right back to the top. Yeah, they're not just out there hosting Raw or something. Yeah.
Right. Like being Seth Rollins' backup, you know what I mean? I don't know how far that's going to go, but I'm like semi-interested in this like Seth Rollins Street Profits. You know what I mean? I would say to the Profits, like hold on and ride for as long as you can, but don't get too comfortable because Seth's running buddies don't have a great track record. That's true.
You're just setting yourself up to get this stomp later on in the night or later on in your life at some point.
But that seems like a great position for the Street Profits to be in, though, because I really want to see what they can do.
I do too, and I hope they actually get involved in the storyline, because so far I think they've been involved in like 0 storylines that involve personality,
and be with Seth. Like I think being with Seth, like I think it's one of those unions where I hope it's something they're thinking about, but it could definitely be something where like on paper you don't think it makes sense, but like they could really yin each other's yang, you know what I mean? Like really like bounce off one another. You find out they have more in common than they do. You know what I'm saying? Like Seth Rollins gets back to dressing all crazy and fancy and getting them fits off. Like I think them and the Street Profits can make for some low-key funny TV together, as far as like
the Street Profits, the Profits made their run in like black slacks. So one wonders if they have a new sort of new look.
Have fun with them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to see the Street Profits in something like tag titles. That's an easy thing to do. Like you can always find the tag team titles for them. I want to see them in something that matters. I want to see them in a storyline that feels like it's important. And when you got Seth Rollins,
I totally agree.
When you got Seth Rollins around it, even if there's no titles involved, like you got Seth Heyman. Like that's a storyline. That's a top of the hour storyline. Like
but I think it has to be a storyline that matters, and I think they have to be given time on not on the mic so much, just on camera, backstage, whatever, to like be human beings. I mean, they're still like we love them. We've met them. By the way, I saw Dawkins on Sunday night, very, very, very briefly. And Brian, I know you talked to him for a while, but I just said like, hey, congratulations on the new kid. We all, can't wait to see you in the ring again. And I said something, and he was like, yeah, we'll be back, whatever. And I just kind of jokingly was like, hey, maybe tomorrow. And then he gave me like the meanest mug. And I guess it was because he thought that I was like, I knew something and I was like rubbing it in his face or whatever. But I was just like, then I walked away. I was like, I don't need Dawkins mad at me. Like,
it didn't even register to me when I saw him out there that Raw after Mania they were going to.
Well, no, because it's been so long, and because there's a lot of people out there that are just there for signings, or whatever. I didn't see. I mean, Montez, I assume, and Bianca came in late because that was both of those were big surprises. But maybe, I don't know, who knows? But good for them. Very excited to see them back. Very excited for the opportunity, and yes. I do hope they find whatever the magic middle is between Seth's giant, ball gowns and the Street Profits traditional attire. I think there's something if they found some matching outfit, it would be great. Any other big notes from Raw? Finn Balor's officially. Cody. Oh yeah.
Where is your interest level on Punk versus Cody, Dave?
I mean, I think my interest level will be pretty high if they do it right, for the match. But and then in the more abstract, I would say you have to do these matches when you can do them. You know, I mean, we talked about the age of the performers. It's like, yeah, let's run this while Punk's as young as he is. You know, because who knows? You
Waiting
might.
a year to WrestleMania will be too long.
Well, I think that you get in a situation where like you might have such alchemy that it's a match that you could do at SummerSlam and WrestleMania. You know, like you don't know, and it would be terrible to like at the stage of both these guys' careers, of any age guys' careers, to not do something, to put a holding note on something, and then it never happens. You know, we've seen that happen too many times. So, I say just go for it. I say you could
do
probably
it at Backlash. Fuck it.
No, but I would say keep them involved in each other's storylines all the way through, and then maybe they fight at SummerSlam, and then you see where to go from there. But yeah, I mean, I would be interested in that for sure. They could. I mean, we just saw how great Roman and CM Punk were, given fairly little to work with in terms of like long-term build. Obviously, you can retroactively rewrite, you know, the past to be like, look at all the stuff that mattered. It's like, yeah, dude, it's like there's 40 dudes in a room, you're gonna cross paths, and it's gonna, but it's, you know, they didn't get a lot. I think Punk and Cody could be incredible. We got to keep rolling though, because we're gonna run out of time before we even realize it. We should, before we wrap up Raw, we finally got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors. That's the sort of mulligan match that I was talking about, right? We're going to lean into that because the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky didn't get anything at WrestleMania. And, Finn Balor beat JD in what was a very, very good match. Are we official? Is Finn Balor okay?
Dave, I think once we saw Finn Balor back in his panty drawers and the vest, with the jacket, I think he's okay, bro.
I tweeted I'd never been so happy to see a guy in briefs. But it was a real moment.
Yeah, the haircut and everything. You know what I mean?
The haircut was crazy. I honestly had talked myself into believing that he had like a cartoonishly high hairline that he was trying to cover up by like always brushing it forward. But dude, the beard trim, he looks like 20 years younger. You know, it's crazy. And hopefully he'll be pushed like he's 20 years younger than he is.
Yeah.
Give that man all the screen time. Got to talk about Dynamite last night. I feel like there's been 3 times on this show in the past 6 months where I've come on and said, holy shit, I'm not a big Darby guy, but that was my favorite Darby match. That was so good. He keeps going upwards and upwards. And his match against Tommaso Ciampa last night might be the best match of the year. I mean, it was so freaking good. Everything about it. And I was not expecting anything particular. You know, they're both good wrestlers. Ciampa's a very good wrestler. But Ciampa wrestled. I mean, I feel like if you were like, how good is Tommaso Ciampa? My mind immediately goes to like Gargano matches that were very, very good. But dude, I like this more than any of those Ciampa Gargano matches. You know, like he's obviously a good technician. I tweeted, I didn't know either of them had this in them. And I think that's pretty, I guess I'll explain. I mean, I didn't think Darby was that good. You can give all the credit in the world to Ciampa, but Darby held up his end. And frankly, I mean, I know Ciampa always has good matches, but I never really thought of him as a guy that carries other guys to greatness, you know? And that was a piece. I mean, that was just a thing of beauty, just an absolute thing of beauty. Darby, man. I mean, Darby obviously retained. Ciampa was busted open like nothing else. I'm sure there was a lot of like, let's outshine WrestleMania locker room talk going on. And if that was the idea, in ring wise, they succeeded. I loved it. Did you watch it last night, Kaz?
Yeah, I mean, Darby's the best. He's probably the best bump taker in wrestling, right? Like nobody falls more violently than Darby Allin. Like he falls violently, offensively and defensively.
And it's not like, and I guess that's what makes Darby unique. He's obviously a small dude compared to other wrestlers, but it's not just the monsters that find a way to throw him onto the steel steps upside down or whatever. It's like every match he's in, there's some contrivance by which he gets destroyed. And it's a lot. It is a fun gimmick. He also, I feel like had twice the moveset that he normally has last night. It was so good. Like he was just like pulling out moves that I wasn't expecting to see. That whole double stomp, that reverse double stomp that he did on Ciampa's chest was just disgusting and wonderful. And it was a really well told story the whole way through too. I mean, it just had me glued to the TV screen. So congratulations to them. I also tweeted that after the Death Riders abducted Will Ospreay or carried him to the back, that the Death Riders had become what the Wyatt family should have been, a sort of meeting in the middle thing there. Got a lot of people saying this is the craziest tweet in the history of time. I mean, just the real diehards were going in on a pretty forgettable tweet. But I just meant like first of all, they were abducting people, which was briefly a Wyatt 6 thing and maybe should have always been a Wyatt 6 thing. And two, but they seem like a real threat. You know, Halloween masks are not scary. Flannel, definitely not scary with a Halloween mask. You guys know my opinion on flannel and wrestling. But they abducted him and everyone's like, where's he going to go? And I was like, yeah, this is that's the level of, I don't want fear because you're like from a haunted house. I want to be afraid because I think you might murder me, you know, or like whatever. And that's the vibe that the Death Riders can give off, even though they're functionally baby faces here. I don't know. I didn't mean that much by it. I'm just not scared of the Wyatt 6. And I hope they figure out a way to do it. I mean, imagine if they had run the Wyatt 6 gimmick more like the Death Riders in just sort of a broad sense. And I know they don't have the workers that the Death Riders have, and whatever. And people do. And listen, we were at the Superstore. I understand the value of those Wyatt 6 masks to the bottom line. By the way, if you're an up-and-coming wrestler, if you're down there in Orlando or anywhere trying to get a shot, have a list of not just cool names that I want to use when I'm on the main roster, but like cool things they could sell at WWE World that are related to me. I feel like that's just like such a huge component of the marketing push now. But yeah, I mean, I just thought, think that like if the Wyatt 6 were like, sure, wear your masks or whatever, but in the middle of the ring, it's just like Bo Dallas with his greasy hair and beard, like looking like but with his face out, looking like a scary person. That would be way more compelling than all these silly masks and gimmicks and stuff, you know? Anyway.
I don't know. The Wyatt 6 don't do it for me. I know it's
that's what I'm saying. This is the whole point. They've never done it. They've never recaptured the moment of their debut, and you know,
they're just put in such a tough spot, man. Like they're a tribute act, essentially.
Yeah,
they're a tribute to Bray Wyatt. So it almost feels rude to be like, this isn't doing it for me.
It's like it's like when Renegade had his WCW run, his fake Ultimate Warrior.
Damn,
right?
I wasn't go that far. But
well, that's another example of a tribute act. That's all.
Like I mean, shoot, if the Death Riders went to sleep and woke up with the Wyatt 6 level of aura or heat, they'd probably disband the Death Riders. You know what I mean? The Death Riders. They're low key the best thing they got going on AEW.
For sure. I don't even know if it's low key anymore. But yeah, I mean, listen, this doesn't need to be like a how to book the Wyatt 6 conversation. But they spent the past however many months with them in the tag. They had the tag titles for a while, and then it was all about them in the MFTs leading to WrestleMania. They didn't even have a WrestleMania match. And then all the rest of the SmackDown tag division, which used to be a freaking pearl of the company, is just lost in the, in the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be in the tag division. I like giving them an opportunity, but it's like, dude, just abduct Will Ospreay. Come on, that's a great gimmick. I mean, that would be a great gimmick if they abducted Will Ospreay and brought him to WWE. I mean, they'd be over like Rover forever. Kaz, you want to get your plugs in? Sorry.
Yeah, man. Brand new episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is out right now with Wale and Will Packer. Special 2-pack episode, and of course, new post games talking about everything in the NBA playoffs. You can catch me on your Hot 97 every day. That's my word. On Mornings with Mero, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Hot 97, youtube.com. So that's Hot 97, 97.1 on the FM dials. And yeah, that's it.
Well, thanks, Kaz. Thanks to our producer, Brian H. Waters. Thanks to our EP, Ben Cruz. Also, just as a total aside, since I was going through my tweets, thanks to GCW Indie Wrestlers Effie and Alley Catch, who I shouted out on Twitter this week for having a great match.
What's up, my guy? Good dude.
We were at that spring break show, and we should probably have talked more about it. It was so good. But, of course, the Brody King Janela match got a lot of attention, as did Sandman's last match against the Invisible Man. Both were incredible experiences, but sandwiched in the middle there was Effie and Alley Catch, who have been mainstays for so long and have so much history together, and they put on a fucking show, man. I mean, that was a great match. Anyway, did I thank everybody? Thank you guys for listening. Finn's okay, so we're done here. I'll just go with the PSA thing. Be a fan, not a mark. We'll see you back here next week, humanoids.
Peace.